Welcome back to the DeliveringMore platform, folks. I'm your host, Ben Alkire. Thank you so much for consuming the content morning, afternoon, and evening. We appreciate it. As always, if you could, hit that subscribe button down below. That's going to help us out more you could ever know. I have a wonderful episode of the DeliveringMore podcast to bring to you folks today. We are in office with someone I've become very fond of over my times at DeliverThat. He's worn a lot of hats with the company, went from driver to now VP of partnerships. We have with us Mr. Christian Hilty.
That's an electric opening. Do you think people watch it morning, afternoon, and night?
I hope so. I say it. Maybe like I'm manifesting that they do. You know what I mean?
You have to speak it into existence.
Right. I think that's how I roll.
Well, I'm excited. This was an impromptu one. So backstory on this, Ben just slacks me yesterday. It's like, do you want to film a podcast? And I was like, sure. What are we talking about? And he was like, I don't know. I'd love to publish it next week. And I was like, let's do it.
That's almost exactly what I said, word for word.
Yeah. So here we are. Excited to be back. I've done 2 Meet the Teams now. I've been a hot dog eating champion. You haven't released this year's?
I don't know that this year's is going to get released.
I don't think it should.
Yeah, we had some moments. They're a little tough in terms of viewership.
Yeah, PTSD from the hot dog eating contest.
I don't know if Derek's ever going to be able to eat a hot dog again.
No, and I don't think Phil will ever join again.
I think Phil is probably just not allowed to participate anymore.
That's 0 for 2.
Yeah, 2 years back to back, a little rough participation.
Yeah, so hot dog eating contest and then lots of driver content has been my experience, and then watching the podcast grow. Excited to be back on.
Yeah. I think we talked about starting here a little bit off camera, and I mentioned it in the opening. The title change.
Sure.
Vice President of Partnerships. Was that earlier this year? End of last year?
Towards the end of last year, maybe like Q3, a little before September, maybe August last year. Yeah.
And then run me down your life cycle through DeliverThat. Like from meeting Aaron at Ohio State, what are the hats you've worn throughout the company, and where are you now?
Oh, the milestones. So, driver, I met Aaron. It was my senior year of college. So, it was first semester. It was the winter semester of my senior year at Ohio State. So, fast forward, not too long afterwards, after I'm blowing this guy up on his cell phone, I graduate and move out to Phoenix. Then the role was like territory manager. It was customer service on the phones, recruit the drivers, and take as many deliveries as possible. So I'm not an employee. I'm getting paid taking catering.
You're getting paid taking those deliveries.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to say it was like $50 a week as like a direct deposit to set up ride-alongs, bring, I think at the time we were using. So yeah, that was the territory manager role. And then out there, I started working with Darian. And he used to use Google Maps and set up like routes for me to go door to door to restaurants. So I'm just walking in, middle of the lunch rush, like, who handles the caterings here? Because I have drivers that wear polos and set up food. It's the coolest thing you'll ever see. I don't know what I'm selling, but I'm like, yeah, they dress like me, and I'm just wearing a DeliverThat polo.
That's a hell of a sell, though.
Yeah, it's like I have a big box of these polos back in my house. I'm just giving them away to drivers all day. So, do you need drivers? And people are like, nope, thanks, right? Like, when we started, it felt like we were powering Easy Cater. I'll just say Boston Market was a big one. Qdoba was a big one.
Right.
But we had like those 3 big partners, and everybody else is like, no, we don't want to outsource delivery, right? So fast forward, now lots of people are outsourcing catering, the whole evolution life cycle there. But yeah, I tried door-to-door sales out there, going restaurant to restaurant, but territory manager was still the title. And then it was, hey, you've kind of done all the roles, because then I'd done nighttime dispatching, weekend dispatching, living out in Phoenix. It was like, hey, you've done all the roles. Come back and be director of operations. And I'm like 22 at the time. I'm like, director of operations. I Googled it. I'm like, yeah.
So you had to have been 23 at least by then, right? Because you're graduating
I'm out there
college
for
at
a
21, 22.
I'm out there for a year and a half, 2 years. So I'm 22 or 23
Yeah.
and director of operations. I Google it.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool title, like director. That's awesome. I get back to Canton. So I moved from Phoenix back here. And right here where we're sitting, there's just a big circle of dispatchers.
Yeah, dispatchers on this side of the wall, yeah.
Everybody's rocking Chromebooks. And so I just sit down and start. And I was like, oh, I'm like the GM. Like, if you're sick, I do your job today. And if somebody in recruiting's sick, I do their job for the day. But I'm just GM, like you would expect at a restaurant, being an assistant manager and just plugging in anywhere. So I was like, okay, so the title here is a little different than whatever I Googled because there's only 12 of us, we'll call it. But yeah, that director of operations lasted 2 years-ish. And then VP of operations, our team grew. Similar role, but when COVID hit, I just locked myself in the house and was like, how do we set up recruiting where we don't have to do the ride-alongs like I did with Aaron?
Yeah, you revamped the whole onboarding.
Yeah, so that was during the COVID phase, and then it becomes VP of operations, which was like very recruiting-centric at the time. At least my experience was. There were still delivery operations, but at that time, you're like running dispatch. You, Ben Alkire, are running dispatch. And so everything was pretty smooth. We can get into a whole thing how it was working directly with you. That'll be a good topic for us. But everything on that side was smooth. So it's like, how do we recruit drivers and expand our zip code coverage? That was the focus for, really, I don't want to call it a full 2 years, but about 2 years. And now this newest role of VP of partnerships.
And I feel like if you want to talk about your family restaurant a little bit, the VP of partnerships role suits you a little bit now, I feel like, because you are able to see inside of the brand that your family owns, and you can relate to these restaurant owners, GMs a little bit more because you do understand the back end operations of how a restaurant works. Yeah,
I've seen the pains of opening a new restaurant. My family owns a cheese shop is the name of one, and it's like they sell bulk food. They're over in Amish country, Ohio. Like, it's not glamorous.
A lot of meats.
It's not glamorous, but they have a huge deli case. They do sell a lot of deli meat. And then it's like a Subway, right? Like they have some breakfast items, but they get a huge rush where they'll sell 150, 175 subs in like a 2-hour span of time, right in the middle of the day, right? They're just slinging subs. So they had that, and they took that business over. And now our most recent venture, it's called Bees Cafe. And anyone familiar with Ohio, this is in Orrville, Ohio. So we're getting at least out of
Smuckerstown, baby.
Yeah, we're getting out of Amish country, but for the world, this is Smucker's HQ over in Orrville, Ohio, and they're like smack dab downtown.
I love me an Uncrustable. Can I just say that? Uncrustables are so good.
My grandma worked at Smucker's for 27 years, like a long time. Beginning to end of career, just Smucker's. So my whole family's very big Smucker's. You can't beat Uncrustables.
Yeah, I had an accounting teacher who was also the accountant at Smucker's as well, but taught part-time. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Do you ever eat them frozen or warm them up? What kind of guy are you?
I'll take whatever I can get, to be honest. But I went to right before I started working at DT, and this would have been 2017. I interned for the Guardians. I believe, were still the Indians at the time.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And that summer you basically go and you'd work every homestand. So you, like, whatever it was, 3 games in a row, 7 games in a row, however the series mapped out. I would drive from Canton all the way up to Cleveland. Sometimes I would stay with my cousin in Lakewood, but I was a merchandising concessions intern. So I was basically working the team shops.
Yep.
I was at one point got promoted to be the manager of the team shops. So I was like running all that stuff. But the break room is like under the stadium. There's like this walkway under the stadium where like that's how the players get to the clubhouse. That's where, like, I saw the ownership Dolan one time wanted to stuff them in a locker. This little tiny guy.
What are we doing?
Yeah, I was like, come on, man, like, fork the money over, give us something. But I basically for a summer survived this. My break time order was 2 hot dogs and an Uncrustable.
There you go.
And they kept the Uncrustables a little chilled, I'll say.
Okay.
So I think I would prefer that, like a chilled version of the Uncrustable.
I love that. Yeah, I grew up on Uncrustables. I've had them hot, cold, chilled, everything in between. I feel like maybe my sophomore year, it was like pack your lunch every day, and I had Uncrustable and Oreo Cakesters. And there's just no nutrients to that, but like that was it. 3 days a week. That's what I had in my lunchbox. It was like 2 or 3 Uncrustables and Oreo Cakesters.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, love Oreo Cakesters. Big fan of Smuckers. So
Bees Cafe.
Yeah, now
Bees Cafe.
Bees Cafe. We're
Bees
in Orville,
Cafe.
Ohio. But that was like a fresh launch, right? We took over an existing business for the first one. So it's like you have a customer base. There's some brand recognition. We didn't really mess with anything. It was just like, here's the keys to the kingdom. Opening a new one, though, everything that existed at the old one was like very antiquated technology, right? So now we're getting into a new one. There's a lot more foot traffic in Orville than there is in Amish country, just outside Worcester where they're at. So it's like, I was telling you this off camera. I go online, I'm trying to help them set up POS system. They have a drive-through lane, so they don't want like full drive-through board and everybody ordering to go, but they want online ordering that you can pull up to the drive-through lane
and just pick it up.
And just pick it up. So I go on a site, and obviously I'm familiar with the industry as a whole, right? Like I know all the key players. But who works with a 2-unit restaurant franchise, basically, that does pretty low volume and doesn't have a big budget to spend and all that stuff? So I'm like, let me go hunting around. Well, I find this aggregator site, so to speak, and just put in information about the shops. Like, yeah, we could use a POS at the other one, but we really need it for Orville. So I put in all the basic information and my personal info. I told you, I think it's just set up to an auto dialer. Immediately my phone rang. Like the minute I clicked submit and the loading screen was done, my phone was ringing. And I'm like, hello? And I won't use the POS's name because I don't want to out them as auto dialer. But yeah, they're like, this is so-and-so with this POS system. And I'm like, oh, hey, yeah, I'm at the gym with you. I'm in the parking lot of the gym.
Right.
And about to walk into the gym, and I was like, I mean, not a great time. He's like, well, you just submitted the form. Do you have 5 minutes? And I was like, yeah, so let's talk, right? So
yeah, just annoy me in between sets, answering a phone call.
And he's grilling me with the questions I filled out in there, and he's telling me the offers immediately into like, here's how much it costs. We'll get you set up tomorrow, basically. But what I've found, and getting back to the partnership role here, is like restaurants need an all-in-one solution for some of these tech things, especially I'm just playing middleman, right? You know how much time I invest in what we're doing at DeliverThat. So like the setup, it needs to be seamless. I need somebody to go on site and show my mom, here's how you run these systems. We'll get you set up from scratch. Building a website, like I can help to an extent. I could tap in some DT people who know better than I do in that area. But we need somebody to like pretty much just be like, here's a cookie cutter website for your little restaurant.
Plug and play some graphics and you're good to go.
It's like you need the same person powering that site, running your POS, running your online ordering, because my mom's not going to deal with 4 different vendors. So that's been my take so far. Still undecided. That was maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. You and I were at the gym. So we're not fully vested in one POS with like a long-term anything in place. But yeah, it's been fun, you know, and then you talk about hiring staff and things we don't think about, right? Like where do we fit in with restaurants? Well, we have drivers and we're trying to educate them to be an extension of your brand. But the reality, especially in Orville and small town Ohio, it's how do you staff for it? If you have a lunch rush, how do you do like flex hybrid staffing where, hey, we want to be open from 6 a.m. to 3:30 in the afternoon, but we're really busy from 6:45 to 7:45, and then again from 10 to noon.
And what is it like the type of small business where if they sell out, like they shut the doors down, or do they keep pumping out the product?
No, I mean, because a lot of, even in the new shop is more, we'll call it like a Panera type menu, right? It's a lot of like hot panini sandwiches. But they have all the product, right? They have plenty of deli meat. They're also selling the deli meat on the side. So they typically stay stocked up with everything except for like breakfast items they could sell out of. But it's like, what do? You know, like the lunch rush dies. No one's walking through that door for the next 45 minutes, and you have 5 employees staring at each other who just went to war, by the way, just pumping out sandwiches. And now they're all like, okay, so we do nothing for 45 minutes or hours.
Get the brooms out.
Yeah, get the brooms out. I actually went and had a panini in like off hours, and it was so funny. My mom's kind of wandering around and cleaning various things, but one of her employees is just staring at her, like eager to do stuff. Nothing against this employee, but she's like, I don't know what you want me to do. Like, and then finally my mom stops talking to me while she's cleaning, looks at her, and the girl's like, where's the broom? And I'm like, exactly what you just said. She says, where's the broom? And I was like, Mom, this poor girl's been looking at you for 20 minutes.
Some sort of purpose.
While you're talking to me.
Begging for it.
Yeah, small family-run businesses. But, I mean, a lot of it does translate, and at least gives me a better perspective on what restaurants go through, you know? But you compare that to some of the bigger brands we work with, and I'm like, yeah, this doesn't
the operations are just at a completely different scale.
Yeah. So it's been fun, though. But transitions and working together. So we worked really closely together, probably for like 2.5, 3 years, where it was like,
yeah. So if we want
really
to roll the tape back a little bit. So when you talk about this, I don't know that we've ever talked about this or I've ever told you this, but when you were in Phoenix, so like you said, you go from Ohio State, you say, what do you need? Go out to Phoenix, help out on the West Coast, whatever. So I think I knew of you, but like obviously wasn't like really aware who you were at the time.
Group me.
Right. Yeah. We're communicating with drivers, everyone through Group Me at the time. But you came back to Ohio end of, let's call it 2020?
2019, I think.
Right before COVID.
Yeah, it was pre.
So I'd been I think Mitch and I had been here for a little over a year at that point in time.
Yep.
And I just remember them, I don't remember how the conversation happened, but I just remember them saying like, hey, this guy's coming in from Phoenix and basically like he's going to be your boss.
Yep.
And like initially.
You're like, what?
Yeah, I was not happy camper. Cause it's also too like, you have the backstory where like, I grew up with all these guys, so like I think I'm like in the inn, you know, like I'm next up, whatever. So like whoever gets the next seat at the table, like it's me, it's mine, right? So like being told that like this random kid, I've never talked to him, never had a phone call with him, no idea what he's been doing in Phoenix for a year, probably not been doing a thing, but taking deliveries. All right, I take deliveries too. Like, not a big deal.
Well, when I was out there, I really only talked to Dan, John, and Darian, I feel like. And then we had random other territory managers. Yeah. Whoever ran DC, I talked to him a lot. We won't get into that. No, Travis got me started. He worked in Columbus, and then he left. But him and Daryl out in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
And then
Daryl.
And then whoever
he came in office.
Yeah, he was in office. So, but speaking to the flip side of what you said, I was like, I'm the only outsider. Like Daryl ended up coming in office and he was kind of the outsider. But when I got started, I knew that you went to school with those guys. I knew they knew Mitch. We had Gindy. I knew they knew Gindy really well. I knew they knew Blake really well. So like that early crew, I was like, I'm the only one who's not a polar bear. Now I joke I'm a polar bear. But back then I was like, yeah, even if this thing takes off the way I truly believe that it can, I'll always be the guy who didn't go to high school with the founders. And now where we're at today, I'm like, well, all of our leaders didn't go to high school with the founders. So once you hit a certain scale, it's like, okay, all those worries go.
Yeah, all that's out the window.
But yeah, you didn't do a great job of hiding it that you weren't happy, right? Like we definitely butted heads sometimes. And then same thing for other people here. I won't use a bunch of names, but I remember having the person running recruiting and giving them their first like write-up form and them laughing and being like, oh, Christian Hilty's writing me up. And I'm like, yeah, you no-showed a department meeting and I just did HR training and we're doing these check and chat forms. It's not a big deal, but can you acknowledge that?
I just need like some paperwork on it.
I need to file paperwork on this. And it was like, it's such an interesting transition turning into, we'll call it a real business compared to, I think the first time I ever visited Ohio to be a W-2 employee, I walk in and it's just you and Mitch and you're like throwing stuff across the room it's just the two of you in a room with your monitor set up, just going to town, dispatching for the whole country.
Was that with the Geeson House office? It wasn't here yet, right?
It was like Blake was on this room on the outside and there's a dispatch room and then Darian's desk was around the corner, but it was like Blake and Jim set up right outside the room. And then you and Mitch in this little dispatch suite, and John would come in there and help you guys.
Yeah. It was
probably a tiny little kitchen.
Yeah.
And I show up, and there's just like a driver in our office. It was Kim, and she's just in our office. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. I'm at HQ. I'm like an outdoor cat coming inside. Like, no way, this is what the house looks like. This is terrible.
Everyone said it was great. Yeah. This is not great.
Not it, guys. You guys make it sound cool on GroupMe. What was the office we tried to get and we started painting it and it never panned out?
That's the office. That was so we went from when I first came around Planet Fitness where we go to the gym, there's offices across the street.
Okay.
So they went from Aaron's dad's house.
Yep.
They got a 2-room office in that office building across the street. I used to go to Planet Fitness and then go hang out with them like after I got a lift in. That was like Gindy, Darian, Jim.
And at that phase, are you just like checking it out? You're not working with them
So
yet?
I was driving for the company.
Okay.
So that I started driving like January 2018, then drove that whole year, then started working for them at the end of October 2018. And then they moved to across Portage.
Yep.
Like right under the underpass where that gas station is.
Yeah.
That used to be a bar called Geeson House when we were growing up. And there's this office building. You pull in the parking lot, office buildings are on the left. So we started out in the one office building, ended up having like black mold in it. And like it was like there were like mushrooms growing under the sink. It's absolutely ridiculous.
See, and I never went there. I only heard about it and then probably saw some like videos of it in GroupMe.
Yeah. And then at one point, Jim takes a plant out of an office, moves it to
Steals
our
it.
office. Guy comes in, blows his lid because we stole his plants. We're like, bro, no one's been in that office for months. We're trying to take care of them. And then we moved like 2 doors down to that same allotment, and that's when we started painting the office blue. Yeah.
I remember
moved out like 2 months later.
Yeah. Well, and then when they reached out to me and it's like, hey, come back, we have a real office. I was like, guys, the only one I saw was not a real office. And then I show up here and there's 12 of us in this space that now comfortably fits 50 plus people every day with room to keep growing. And now we started leasing the office across the way. So yeah, it's cool to watch it grow. But I showed up here and this place was empty, and it was like, yeah, let's set stuff up. And I was so confused because you guys were dispatching over here. Now you can't see it on camera. There's a huge wall, and you got to walk all the way around. And then we had like our driver experience team over there, which at the time is like 2 people, 3 people. I'm like, why aren't you guys just like together so you can talk?
Yeah, I think we were just like, we need to take up the space we have.
Day one, I was like, why are we all spread out? Like, there's way too much room. But yeah, man, it's been cool. My experience has been cool because I got to learn the entire business before working with and representing us to restaurant partners. Like I was always behind the scenes more so. And then it's been wild to see people like you, Tristan, Holly, who like start out doing something and then just end up something completely different.
Complete 180.
Tristan's now a software developer and works from home 99% of the time, unless we order food to the office. Then Tristan shows up. But he comes in here, and every time it's like, hey, meet these 5 new people. And it's insane that he was like someone I sat with every single day. He was first one on the hotline with you in the mornings, and it was like, let's get after
6 a.m. Those were crazy.
There were so many mornings back then when I would walk in and it's just you in the entire building.
Pitch black.
Pitch black.
Never turn the lights on.
I'm like, Benny, we gotta crank these lights on, man. And you're just sitting over here. And
Do you remember, was it you that came back and freaked out about the lights being off, or was that Darian or someone? Do you remember that?
I don't remember.
Someone went on vacation for like a week.
And came back and is like,
and we basically didn't turn the lights on. Like we would just work in the dark. Like staring at computer screens, and someone came back and flipped. And maybe it was Jim. I don't remember. But someone was like, no one got up and turned the lights on one single time. And we were like, dude, we kind of like.
We kind of dig it.
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
Yeah, we could do that back then. Yeah, I remember so many mornings. It's just Ben, and you had like the dimmed down lights on your screen, and that was the only light in the entire building. I'd be like, there you are. And there was that wall there too, so it would be like me coming around the wall.
Right.
And bam, there's Ben. And I remember lots of mornings too.
Yeah, desk was right against the wall.
It was like, never that we had beef, but there would just be like tension, like, sup, and I just go do my thing, and you just keep grinding. Or you'd be putting out a fire at 6 a.m, and it's like, oh shoot.
Yeah, I'm also like possibly the worst person to have like work a morning shift because I'm not a morning person like at all.
365 days straight, you were at that desk just getting it.
Probably more than that. That was wild times.
Yeah,
back when we're about 4 p.m. hits, we're recording little DT days.
Yeah. So I've expressed this to you, but just formally on camera, we were doing DT days is what we called it. And we were trying to
DAZE as well.
DAZE.
Like
to be
it's
clear.
been a long day at the office. You're in a little bit of a haze afterwards.
Yep.
You got to clear the head.
Yep. But we would just sit. Now it's HR's office.
Now it's Diana's office. Yeah.
But we would just sit in there and just talk about what's going on. And the goal was to have all these videos compiled that would just be for internal use. Like, we're not going to embarrass the company, but we would go in there and just talk about.
It's like something to look back on.
Yeah, drivers, drama from the day, fellow employees, what technology's going on, what restaurants gave us problems that day. Anything we needed to get off our chest, we would just go in there and talk about it. And I still, to this day, everything we just talked about, I'm like, why don't we have this mini docu-series of filming in each of those offices we just described, talking about us blowing out this wall, ripping up the carpet. We used to have a little storage unit over there that we just patched up and made our kitchen bigger. The office has changed so much.
I completely forgot about that.
So much. And so now there's like there's a handful of other people here who can remember all the way back to like the things I'm describing right now. But we've grown the team so much. There's not that many people who've been around since then. And I just want more
no
footage.
one knows about it.
Now I just pop out of my office like twice a week and I just take a picture of where everyone is. Because I have so many photos or like short videos where I'm like, they're not here anymore. Like 90% of people are not getting fired. They're moving on to better things, better situations. There's some terminations that happen too over the course of time. But I'm like, oh, do you remember when Blake sat at that seat? Or look at this desk clump with Nick, Ryan, and Blake. And I'm like, those were the glory days, you know?
They were.
And I'm just like, I wish we had more of a mini docu-series going on that's like, hey, we're never going to publish this, but wherever this takes us.
But like when you can publish it, it's like down years and years, decades down the road.
I'll never compare us to Barstool, right? But they have that. And I'm like, I wish we were more of a media-driven company. So I love what you're doing on the marketing side and the media side, because we need more of that. We need to know what's going on here, whether it's for us or for the world, morning, afternoon, and night. Thanks for watching. But like, we got to document the progress ourselves. That's why you're like, you want to hop on a pod? And I was like, I can't miss a chance to cement it. Like, we could do this again in 2 more years, and who knows what we'll be doing or where we'll be at.
Yeah, I think it's super interesting too, because I am a huge component of our media and content side, but I'm also like in my personal life, that's how, like, I'm not a picture taker. Yep. I'm not a video taker. Like, but I have that thought often where like, I'll look at my pictures like from when I got my dog, like 4 years ago. And I'm like, damn, like, why didn't I take more videos? Why didn't I take more pictures? Like, I'm sure now with Cam and the new baby on the way, like, are you taking a ton of photos, videos, or do you feel like you're already kind of missing out on opportunities?
Perfect segue. So I was just having the thought to myself, I was that same way forever. And there's so many things I feel like I missed. But as soon as I had Cam, it was like, I want to document everything. Britt wants to document everything. And now it's to the point, you'll get a kick out of this. I don't think I've told you this, but anytime he's crying and throwing a real tantrum fit, I videotape it. And then when he calms down, I play it back for him. And I'm like, do you see how stupid you look? So I just have all these videos of Cam just freaking out. Obviously, tons of laughs, tons of him learning how to talk and walk and all the things. But yeah, pretty much every time he throws a tantrum, I calm myself down and I'm like, I'm just going to videotape you. Because I know someday we're going to look at that and be like, you screamed for 40 minutes because your bottle was 2 feet from you and you didn't want to get it for yourself. Like, those will be the memories I'm showing him.
You couldn't find your pacifier. It was under you.
Yeah, freaked out. You were sitting on it the whole time.
Unbelievable.
So, yeah, we're documenting everything these days. And I think I learned some of that from DT, though. Like, I'm taking a ton more pictures. I felt bad. We have 6 new people who just started. And so they're over here doing shadowing and then in our other office space doing training. And I can't help it. Like, I've already taken probably 10 photos of them. And then at one point, all of them look up and I'm just snapping a photo. Like, I'm not going to post it anywhere. Don't worry. Like, if you guys don't want me to take photos, say something. But I got to document this because odds are one of you I'll never get to interact with that much. And you won't be here again. I'm going to have to look back and be like, oh, remember that training class we brought in? These 3 are rock stars still 2 years later. And I miss that person.
Yeah, they were great for the time we had them.
They were great. So, yeah, trying to document more and more things. But it's cool what you're doing on the media side. I'm glad we brought Lindsay in. It's cool to just see the evolution of our social medias. You know, I managed our Instagram page when I lived in Columbus.
I did not know that.
It was just my setup photos. It was my personal setup photos. And I was just posting them on Instagram. I think I'm still logged into our Instagram all these years later.
That's wild.
But yeah, I was like, I'm going to try all these different things. Because I got a psychology degree. After thinking I was going to do the ROTC, the Navy stuff, then I go get a psych degree and join a delivery company. So I was like, well, let me try every job here because I don't even know what I'm good at. I don't know what I like. So early on, I was like, oh, social media marketing agency. I'll start my own agency. Let's see if I can learn this Instagram thing. And then it's just my setup photos. I was like, what else do you post for a catering company? What else do you do?
We're still trying to figure that out.
Still trying to figure out what you post on Instagram.
Yeah. We don't have many great ideas at this moment in time. I want to keep talking about the family.
Yeah.
And some hot topic out there these days, the housing market.
The housing market, yeah.
You put an offer in a couple days ago.
I did.
We had high hopes.
High hopes.
And we got outbid.
It was so turnkey. Like, they have the baby nurseries set up. They have enough rooms for the whole family. They had a pool out back. It was very reasonably priced. And I even went over. And somebody just swooped in, bought that thing in cash, went way over what I offered. And I was like, well, this is horrible. So I'm just now getting back into housing market. We bought a super reasonably priced duplex in North Canton a year and a half, 2 years ago now. So we're finally at the spot where it would make sense to rent both sides,
right,
and get out of there. It was really just like, hey, this is the most economical option. Like, what I pay there because someone's helping pay for the mortgage.
Get half your mortgage paid for.
Is cheaper than what it would have been to just like keep renting or whatever the case may be. And now it's like, okay, let's rent out both sides and try to upgrade house. But it's tough out there. I mean, things are on the market for like one day and they go, or they sit there forever and they're crazy price. The interest rates are high.
Yeah, what I was seeing when I bought my house too, though, is like there were some houses that people understand how the market is now, so they're listing it like so high, like trying to get everything they can out of it. But those markets will sit, and they're like, so I've seen houses go from like
$50,000 price cut,
$300,000 to $275 2 months later, to $250 another month later, to now it's selling at $215.
Like you played yourself, you know?
It's like, all right, guys, let's calm down a little bit.
How was the house buying experience for you though? Did you have to go to a bunch? How many offers did you put in?
I visited a good handful of houses. So I was also super picky though about like I didn't want to leave this area.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to stay in Jackson, edge of Massillon, edge of Canton, maybe go up to like Green, Uniontown.
Sure.
Don't want to really venture too deep into Akron. Maybe if I had to, I would have. But so that kind of segmented out a lot of the availability. But basically, like Carol, our realtor, shared realtor, Brad Williams, great guys, people out there.
They're fantastic.
Yeah, unbelievable. Any house that went up in Canton, Massillon, Jackson for like a solid probably month or two, like I saw it.
You're just getting links.
I was like, Carol would text me. I would text her, be like, hey, did you see this one go up? Did you see that one go up? All right, let's set the meeting. Let's go check it out.
She's a pit bull. She's quick.
She's awesome.
She's quick, yeah.
I saw one over, do you know where Milk and Honey is on Cleveland Ave?
Yeah.
So I grew up from, I don't know, my parents hopefully don't watch this. I'm going to butcher the ages, from 6 to 9 years old in a house right behind Milk and Honey up the street, 35th Street, I believe, 37th Street. I looked at a house a couple streets over on like 33rd or 34th, and then you like go back into the neighborhood. And so initially, I get this from my mom, like I'm like when things feel like they're like meant to be, like, and I feel like I like look for it like in things. So I was like, oh, like this house is right next to where I grew up. Like I'm right down the road from Milk and Honey, like I was as a kid. Like I know the area, so like
it feels like home already.
I was like, damn, like this is it.
Yeah.
It had a nice little pool in the back. Wasn't excited about having to pay the insurance for that pool, but it was what it was. Had a fenced-in backyard for the dog. Had a nice little deck. Was updated, so I was like, dang, this is it. And then the inspection came back.
This was not it.
Yeah, it's not it. So, and the people weren't willing to budge. They knew the market, so I was like, well, will you fix this, this, and this? And they were like, no. Not happening. Okay. So then we moved down the line, and then October, I get the house I got. And so I'll tell this on camera. This is crazy. This is my mother talking through me right now. The house that I'm in currently
Yep.
was built in 1994, the year I was born. Was built by a family, 2 doctors. So you've been to my place. It's connected to like the other unit, but it's separated by a wall. You can't access either unit from it. It is connected though. The house that I'm connected to is street facing. I'm inland and not street facing. The people who built the house, I believe, I could be butchering this, have now passed away since then, was my uncle's cousin or something like that, or something along the lines. But lo and behold, we go to visit this house for the first time, and my mom, we're leaving, and my mom's like, I feel like I've been in this house before. Like, she was like, it feels familiar. Like, what? And like a couple of days go by down the line, and she's like, no. She's like, I figured it out. Our family knew who lived in this house and built this house. And so, like, not related to, but we knew the people who built it originally, knew that they were like sticklers about quality. And you go in the house, like everything's bright white wood, like super nice. Their last name was Allman. My last name is Alkire. So it's already got a big black A on the chimney.
That's cool.
And this is another weird, kind of not very related, but a little bit related. My dad's family and my Nana, his mom, grew up super Christian. And so one of like major Christian symbols is that like little fish, you know, like a little intersecting fish.
Fish of life, yeah.
Right next to the door is a metal one of those fish.
That's cool.
So like it was just like it's just, I don't know if like those are things you search for.
But you didn't know that until you had the house.
I didn't know.
Like you didn't know the connection.
We knew it. Family? We knew it going into the offer.
Okay.
But like when we first viewed it, we didn't know anything. We knew the house was built in '94. My mom was like, "That's crazy." We pulled up, saw the A on the chimney. My mom was like, "What the hell?"
Yep.
Walk in the door, the little fish is on the door. I'm like, "Oh shit, this is kind of weird." Like I'm not very religious, but like something out there is working in my favor, right? So like that's where everything kind of lined up, and then that's the house I got.
And now you love it.
I don't know if I love it. I still got some work to do. Obviously, we did all that wallpaper, painted the walls. I still got to rip out some carpet, put some flooring in. But I think come 2025, I'm planning my winter projects are going to be to get the carpet out, put the flooring in. So come like spring 2025, I think I'll be in a good place.
And do you feel like since owning a house, that you've become more of a handyman, do-it-yourself kind of guy, or where do you sit on that?
I haven't taken many strides in that department. Yeah.
I've gone backwards.
Yeah. So my dad, he's science, engineering background. He's a do-it-yourself kind of guy. Like, I don't know how he figures out how to do it, but he will.
Yeah.
Like all the house projects, he usually is somehow working his way around doing that. I've never been that guy. Yeah. I'm always like, I'll go to the shop, have them pay for it. I'll have someone come out to the house, have them do it. Like that's my realm of reality. My garage door's broken right now.
Yep.
So I haven't had it fit. It's been broken for like 4 months.
And you just ignore it. Like,
we'll
just live around it.
Right.
We'll go around it.
Me and Derek I don't think since Derek's moved in, I don't think he's pulled in the garage once.
I feel like that's like old DeliverThat technology where we'd be like, well, should we suggest a fix or just work around it?
Yeah, just find a way to make it
work.
We'll
just figure it out. No, I'm the same way. I'm not handy at all. I was so proud of myself. I think the biggest project I've done is I took apart the entire washer, took it all the way apart. And then as I'm putting it back together, and I'm like trying to keep mental notes, I got my YouTube videos I've already watched, and I'm rewatching in slow motion. As I'm putting it back together, just like what appeared to be the simplest thing was so hard. And I took a big wrench that I was using, and I threw it. Our floor in the basement, it's not a finished basement by any means. So the washer and dryer side is just concrete on the floor, and I threw it and spiked it off the concrete. And I was like, Brittany, I will work as hard as I can in my life to make sure I never mess with an appliance ever again. I'll never touch an appliance. You could get me to paint. You could probably get me to do like some flooring and things like that. But if it comes to like plumbing or appliances, I can't do it. I can't do it.
I just feel like the risk reward is like so heavy.
Oh, my washer
risk.
should have broke that day.
Right.
But it didn't.
The chances of you putting it back together and it working correctly or working how it did before, slim.
Yep. I looked up online and I was like, oh, there has to be a little baby sock stuck in the propellers down there. That's what it is. This is exactly what I'm experiencing. And I get all the way in there, and dude, just the disappointment I felt when there was no sock in there. And I was like, great, it's something electrical. Like, this is an actual problem.
Gotta get a new washer.
Yeah, I need a real man to come in here and do this because it's not me. I'm not that guy. So, yeah, I've taken steps back. I was proud of myself the first time I changed a filter on a furnace. I was really proud of myself for relighting the hot water heater. Like, I wasn't coddled as a kid, but I haven't learned anything. I know my dad's not going to watch this, but, like, shout out to the YouTube channels that are like, things your father should have taught you. Like, that's right up my alley.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
That hit home.
Can't change oil. I've changed a couple tires, but that's it. That's where we draw the line. You know?
I can change a tire.
Yeah, I can change a tire with the best one, but that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So home ownership doesn't fix that.
It's a tough world we live in.
Yeah, and now I'm a landlord for this guy next to. Thank goodness he's a handyman.
What do you do? Has anything broken down on their side of the allotment, and have you like paid for someone to come fix that, or what do you do?
I think because of the rate so he's been there for 10 years, and I think because I have him pay so little, still he's like had the same lease.
His expectations for fixing things are
he's
just
like
not there.
I do it myself. But if you pull in, so we have the two separate driveways and separate garages. And when you're pulling up to our house, you're like, wow, this side's beautiful. And this side, like, somebody lives there, but there's some weeds. And
your side's the questionable side?
His is immaculate. I'll come home, he's planting new flowers. He's laying down new stone, like, next to the driveway. Beautiful fireplace that he's made for himself, this big stone area, and he's got his fire pit sitting on it. It looks great. It looks fantastic. And then you pull up to our side, and it's like, oh, that side's a whole different home. What's going on? So, yeah, he's great. He's never asked me for anything. I've never paid to fix anything, upgrade anything. He's just loving it. Home ownership.
It's wild.
Yeah. And I'm trying to do it again. I don't know why. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there someday.
Yeah. And we'll probably be able to fix things someday.
Yeah, I think that's maybe like a 40.
40s. Yeah.
In our 40s, we'll figure that kind of stuff out. That's like grown.
Yeah.
Like, you got nothing else to do.
You got to show off for your kids, whatever. You know, you got to
you're,
prove to other people.
Maybe that is what happens. Like, right now, I don't have a family or children to, like, look up to me.
Yeah.
And, like, once Cam is, like, well, I'm going to call it sentient. I understand he is already, but, like, understands what's happening around him fully.
I want to prove.
But yeah, like, when he's, like, 7,
this.
8, 9, and you know he's actually, like, consuming what you're doing, you'll be like, all right, I got to have him watch me fix this. And, like, that's when it really sets in.
Whenever you're like, hold the flashlight for me, something goes off, and you're like, I'll fix it.
That's it.
Just hold the flashlight.
When you can have someone hold the flashlight
and you have someone
for
to blame it on if you can't fix it.
Here's
it's
the
like,
thing.
move the flashlight.
What about this, though? You're just holding the phone.
Yeah. Whoa.
You just hold the phone.
There's no more flashlights.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Flashlight business. You think they're out of business these days?
They can't be thriving.
Like campers, maybe keep them in business.
Oh, campers.
But your phone has the flashlight, so it's like out of use.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think too, because even if like the only thing that could happen is your phone dies,
right?
It's more likely that you pull out a flashlight and the batteries are dead or
100%. Batteries are always dead.
So yeah, even if we got attacked and the internet's down, and that flashlight's still working. I can't think of a reason why you should have a flashlight. I can't believe you just said that.
As you said flashlight, I was like, wait.
Our kids will never hold flashlights.
Yeah, they're not going to know what flashlight is.
Wait, you mean you had a separate device for music and a separate device for a flashlight? Why?
And you had this computer that made all these noises?
Yeah. Oh, I still remember the noises.
Took 30 minutes
time.
to get online?
Yeah. I was homeschooled during the noise power up for the internet, and I can remember firing up the computer to write a report about whales or whatever, but I'm like discovering the internet has information. This is so cool. And now, fast forward the phases of life. Now I'm trying to explain to my mom that the internet has information. She'd be like, hey, Christian, will you help me with Canva? I'm like, yeah, here's a YouTube video, how to Canva. Just search the words online.
And there's literally 100,000
hundreds of thousands of videos online that will show you how to do anything. But yeah, just generational differences. Now I'm going to eventually get to that point where Trent or Cam are going to be like, dude, just ask ChatGPT. Like, why are you talking to me about it? But Mom, Google it, you know?
Is there anything you think that we use daily that you can pick out of your brain right now that you think when your children are of college age that they'll be like, why'd
you use it?
Was that what you were doing?
Well, I know where my brain went, so I'm just going to say it, and I don't think this is accurate. The more I think about it, the more I'm like having the battle in my brain, but I just got to say it. I use the air fryer now so much that it's like very rare for me to touch a microwave these days. And so I'm thinking down the line, it seems like kitchen appliances are becoming elite, and it'll be like, why were you guys microwaving your food? Or like health studies come out and they're like, that causes cancer. And you're like, so does chapstick and sunscreen and blah, blah, blah. Like, make me a list, right? But yeah, microwave is what came to my mind because I'm like, I hardly ever use that thing. The air fryer rocks. And I picture a rendition of that. That's like, this is your stove, this is your microwave, this is your air fryer, this is your grill. It's all in one. Like, why would you use a different appliance?
Microwave is a good answer.
Yeah.
I feel like that might be spot on.
It's like restaurant technology. Just put it all in one.
Right.
We need a one-stop shop. This is how you grill, microwave, air fry. What about you? Anything come to your mind?
No, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to have something pop in this little brain of mine, but I'm not driving a lot of thought right now. I'm trying to.
We don't use it every day, but we established flashlights are dead.
Yeah, we got somewhere with that.
Flashlights are dead. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Was it morning, afternoon, and evening? Thank you for that, supporting our journey, and listen to us riff about the old times, the pains of growing a small restaurant, and everything else we talked about.
Yeah, we came a long way. I honestly don't really remember what was said, so it's going to be interesting edit.
Black mold, mushrooms, old offices, old employees we just threw out by name. We might have to write to them.
Yeah.
But we're here.
Check in on how somebody's doing. I actually spoke to a coworker of Sheeler a couple weekends ago.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, so he's doing well.
Good.
I was like, damn,
never
I
a doubt.
I fucking miss that guy.
Yeah, that guy was incredible, is incredible. We need to hit him up. I need to hit him up. But hey, if you're a restaurant and you're not partnered with DeliverThat, reach out to me. Happy to help. If you're a restaurant partner with DeliverThat, happy to hop on a status call.
Let's see. Let's try to siphon a clip out of this. I don't know if we got much clippable material. Let's try to siphon a clip. If you could.
Our favorite partners, go. No, I'm just kidding. Whoa, we can't do that.
We could. You got an elevator pitch, like a 40-second elevator pitch on people who aren't using DeliverThat and why they should and what our services are like a 40-second elevator pitch. Get down in the nitty gritty.
Picture a service that only charges you per delivery. They're an extension of your brand. They're going to deliver your catering and set it up. And then picture a day where you don't have enough drivers in your restaurant to deliver a $1,000 order and you have no one to call. That's where we fit in. If you're not outsourcing deliveries right now, we'd just be a step up on the quality, flat rate fee per delivery. We're here to help. That's it. That's what we do. And when I actually get stuck with people and they're like, what's DeliverThat? I'm like, picture DoorDash without a website and all the data collecting of customers. They just have drivers and they only do catering. And they'll teach them to do the catering however you want us to teach them to do your catering, right? That's the goal. That's the goal.
That's always my explanation of DeliverThat. Yeah. When people are like, what do you do? I'm like, well, I work for a catering delivery service. It's Uber Eats and DoorDash, but instead of burgers going to an apartment, it's platters of food going to an office, this, that, the other, and I have nothing to do with any of that.
Yep, I don't do any of that.
And I just make videos.
Yep. So let's do a selfie. Dude, we never talked about our food challenges you and I have been doing, but I'm ready for the next one. I think we've looked up a couple around here. Let's get that on the books.
I did. I think I sent you a couple links because I found a website that has like state by state food places that have food challenges. I think we could
travel.
Anywhere, get our pictures on some walls, get some free T-shirts.
Well, next year we just have to book it into our conference seasons. So as we're traveling from state to state, hit up that state's food challenge.
I didn't think about that. That's a great idea.
That's a whole segment of the pod and the content we're producing is those food challenges. Yeah, we haven't published them.
Yeah, I know. We gotta get them published.
Like the Wendy's one is awesome. The Subway one before that, I thought I was actually gonna just die, but they're great.
Yeah, I think we can get them pushed through.
Way better than our hot dog eating contest.
Yeah, hot dog. I don't think that's ever seen the light of day. Maybe year 4 will be a turnaround.
We'll have a blooper reel someday.
Yeah, we'll get a better production value. Get some people who aren't gonna, choke on some dogs and throw them up. And we'll
just have a better crew.
We'll see what we can do.
But yeah, use DeliverThat. check out the DeliveringMore podcast. If this is your first time watching, it's great. They're not like this. They're much different, much better. This was great too.
It's a little impromptu. See what we could throw together.
Yeah.
This might be a preview of a new concept we've been talking about.
Yeah, just riff.
Yeah.
You know, we just need somebody to join us, right? Like we want to talk to a third party, a restaurant. It can't just all be, chumming it up about.
Yeah. But I like having you over here. Vibes are always at an all-time high.
Yeah, the vibes are good. We just need a guest. We'll get one booked.
See what we can do.
Coming
Restaurants. Let Christian know.
Hit us up. We want to talk.
We want to hear about your brand. We want to sell your brand to our drivers.
Yes.
Let them know what they can do for you.
We're a marketplace of drivers.
Expectations, fulfillment, deliver that. Yeah. LeBron, what was it?
Oh, your epic speech to the company?
Yeah. What was it?
Greatest state of Deliver That company-wide meeting of all times. He says, Northeast Ohio. LeBron James, deliver that. That was it. That was your walk-off, too.
That was my closer.
The last words you said were LeBron James, deliver that. LeBron James, comma, deliver that. It's like, wow. If that's what Northeast Ohio is known for one day, we did it. We did it.
We're getting there, though.
I mean, me and you are always buying Alibaba stock, shameless plug, Kava stock.
Kava.
Maybe someday. Deliver that.
Kava's up like 93% since IPO.
Kava took a hit this week, but
really?
Still very up to the IPO. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
but I'm all in on Kava. When it goes down, we buy more.
But we're heavy in the game these days.
I've never bought so much restaurant stock of something I've never tried before. I hear great things.
I've never had it either.
I hear great things. There's not one in Ohio.
The closest one's like Chicago. Yeah. They just opened up in Chicago.
Yeah. They're coming soon, though. Rapid fire. Have to. Yeah. You can't miss Belden.
And Belden Village is like a must be location.
But we have a Honey Grow coming. Let's go.
We do have
actually love Honey Grow's food.
Also, brand I haven't tried, but I'm so excited.
It's so good.
I think I'm gonna make a video. Like I'm gonna might put like a tent up in the parking lot, sleep in the tent.
I'd do it
and do like a live show.
I would do it with you, no question. Do we know an expected date? I just see the coming soon. They haven't told me.
Becca keeps just juking and jiving, poking and prodding, throwing little teasers out there. We've never got a date.
No.
Honey Grow, Justin, Becca,
Demetria. They're in our Slack. I'm just gonna reach out.
Yeah, give us a date.
In a bag.
Give us a date. I need to know when I'm gonna have that stir fry.
It was the first time I've ever heard of shrimp Caesar salad, and it was great.
I love a Caesar salad.
It was so good. Now I go to Sam's Club and I just make it myself. I'll get one of the bags Caesar salad, frozen shrimps, cook them up, let them get back to room temp, throw them in there, toss them. I'm
if you could say at some point in time down the line you're a convicted felon.
I'm going with you.
We're on a stretch here.
I'm with you.
You're a convicted felon.
Yep.
You're on death row.
Last meal?
What's your death row last meal?
My first Kava meal of all time.
So much pita bread. So much pita.
Oh, man. That's tough. I think it has to be something, A, that I've tried, and B, something that's home-cooked food. My mom used to make stuffed, still does, special occasions, like chicken crescent roll, like balls. They'd have like cream of mushroom soup, shredded chicken. Then she would take crescent rolls and wrap them up.
Right.
And then put like some type of Italian seasoning and breadcrumbs on the outside and bake them. A bunch of cream cheese in there with them, too. Fantastic. So I think that's where my mind goes, is like I would just eat those until I didn't even have to make it to the chair. Like I just die. I just peel over and they're like, no, yeah, for sure.
He's already dead.
This guy's gone. This guy's toast. We don't need to electrocute him. What about you? Don't go. It can't.
I would have to. It'd be like a cohort of things.
Some Wendy's Nugs, some Subway.
Sorry, but no. Medium rare strip steak.
Okay.
Chicken parm sada, red sauce spaghetti, angel hair preferably. Piece of vanilla cake. Okay. Honestly, like I would eat like 10 cupcakes, probably vanilla cupcakes.
Do you eat the cupcakes where you're like popping off the bottom and making the sandwich? No, you're going straight to it. Okay.
2 bites, gone.
All right.
2-bite cupcake guy.
As it should be.
I'd probably wash it down with a Pepsi. And maybe a chocolate milk. I used to be a huge chocolate milk guy. I haven't had it in a long time, but I feel like if I knew it was my last day, I'd want to taste it one more time.
You don't feel the repercussions.
Right.
You're good.
Probably like a big bowl of mac and cheese.
White cheese, yellow cheese.
Mr. Terrell's lobster mac.
Mr. Terrell's lobster mac is great.
That'd probably have to be something I would have to maybe make amends with that family depending on what crime I committed.
Sure, you're a felon,
Right? He
yeah.
might not want to have a relationship with me any longer, but I'd apologize and say, hey, please just make me lobster mac.
That's the real question. So you're a felon in this scenario.
What did I do?
What did you do?
Oh boy, so I know what I did. I got road rage.
You're bad on the road.
It was a road rage incident for
Okay.
sure. I ran someone off the road. They went through the barrier,
Sure.
and whatever happened.
I like to think that I hijacked an airplane. Just because I've never flown a plane, but I've always thought a lot about flying planes, and it's like something I want to do. And I feel like I could safely. This is an ignorant statement. I think that I could, if I was given the opportunity to hijack a plane, I think I could take off and land said vehicle. I could take the plane.
Like you're saying right now, if we went to Akron Canyon and we got you in the cockpit,
Like if we had permissions, no help, I'd figure it out. Yep.
0%.
No, come on. There's more than zero.
Dude, have you seen inside those cockpits? There's like
what kind
switches and
what kind of plane are we talking about? It doesn't have to be like a.
it doesn't gotta be like a Boeing jet. Well,
Yeah.
that thing's coming down anyway. But
Either
like,
way, there you go.
So it's like, all right, that's just
Not
a
even my
sunk
fault.
cost.
Yeah, not even my fault. Yeah, I like to think that. There's a guy who hijacked an Alaskan plane, I think in 2018. He crashed. It was a sad story, but yeah, he hijacked a plane. He was like doing barrel rolls and stuff in this massive Alaskan huge cargo plane.
Also, depending on how we come out in the stock game, in our crypto game,
You might just
tax
crash.
evasion.
Oh, okay.
I think that's an easy 1A, 1B. Like,
So I think we all dabbled together during COVID in some stocks and options and things, but I've never had to like claim any net wins
right,
from
me either.
But I never would. Like,
I don't understand how they know.
yeah.
Like, how do they find out that I made money?
I think Robinhood has to be telling them. But like in my case, Robinhood has to be telling
Fidelity.
them. Yeah. But I've never experienced
I've never had a win.
Net gain over
We're
the
up right
course
now,
of a
though.
year.
We're up big
we are
right
up.
now.
We're up. Alibaba to the moon.
Dude, I'm a Tesla. I only have like 1.5, but
Yeah. But it's up.
it's up, baby.
It's up.
It's up, baby.
So how much of this do you think you'll have to edit out? Or are you just going to like let it go? You know, like
I
let
don't
it
know.
fly?
I mean, I think so. We did about 40, 45 minutes early, and we're now, I mean, this is probably another 10, 15, 20. So we might
10,
just let it
15,
run.
20.
See what happens. It's like, we're just wheeling and dealing here. We're seeing what happens, see what the people want to talk about. This has kind of been my thing. Like,
maybe this is the one that takes off, and you're like,
right.
wow,
So exactly. So
my
like,
demographics
so
different than I thought.
delivering more has always been so restaurant industry focused and food related focused that I feel like the conversations are always put in a box a little bit, and it's hard to get people outside of those windows of thinking and like have like real people conversations. So this might be what the people want.
Yeah, this might hit the algorithm just right. I'm trying to think of like even a caption for this one, right? It's like Uncrustables on death row or something. Like, what do you even get?
Fuck, I would eat so many Uncrustables before I got injected. Holy shit.
I mean, just the places you could go with this. It's like DT history, lobster mac, and felonies. Like you just have it all.
We covered a grand scheme and the housing market. You got to put
Housing
housing market probably drive some views.
Blue collar versus white collar. What can we and can't we do?
We're not handyman.
We're just trying to get in our steps. Like we're just trying to rack our steps every day. We just sit at our desks. Useless.
Yeah, I'm working on my posture.
Same. I keep getting hit. I think YouTube's targeting me about the posture. It's got like the thing that like compresses on your back and gives you good posture at all times. Look how much taller we just got.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Until
we
said
might be out of
something-
frame right now.
Yeah, until you said something, I'm just like, what's up?
Oh yeah. Also, NCAA, the new college football game came out, and literally, I probably played over
Sunk a
24
day into
hours,
it,
and it came out Monday, and I've easily played over a full day in terms of hours played. But last night, I was playing. It's like 11:45 p.m. and I'm just like in front of the TV like this.
Are your eyes just fried?
I just like opened my eyes, and at one point I just don't know why, but I was just like, I was like, oh
Perk
boy,
that up a
like,
little bit,
it just feels so.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I need to probably start sitting like this. And then you try that for like 3 plays, and like the 4th play, you're just like back.
Yeah,
You just morph back into it.
Slowly every
Yeah.
play coming back. Is it easier to have good posture when you have somebody up in front of you? Like, do you feel like you're more?
Do you think it's a gravity
dialed
thing? Why everyone's shoulders like shift forward, or is that an ape thing that we've carried over from our posture of old days? You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna
Because because I'm just putting this out there. Like this feels way more natural than this.
Well, I think I would go with like gravity and laziness, right? Like I think there's some effort to sit upright.
Oh yeah, you got strength in the back and the spine.
Because of gravity, there's effort. So I'm gonna go gravity plus like we're just not conscious of it.
You don't think
gravity.
this is like from our caveman days where we're like hunched over?
It's just gravity. Yeah.
Okay.
Gravity. But maybe
You're not an evolution guy.
the drag in the club. I'm not saying we didn't evolve. Let's get out of here.
Get him out of here. Cut him out.
Did evolution even happen?
Cut him
Question
off.
mark.
Big Bang. What? Are you crazy?
But if we evolved from monkeys, why are there still monkeys? I don't get it. Whoa.
We're getting into DT Days territory. It's getting crazy.
Yeah, we got to cut. But this has been great.
It's great.
I don't know if there is a formal end to this. I think we just have to like.
Yeah, I think
stand
we'll
up.
just dip to black, exponential fade the audio, and it just we'll get out of here.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you.
Deliver that. LeBron James. Deliver that.
Northeast Ohio, baby, the takeover.
We did it.
Vic, you like that?
What do you think, Vic? You hear lots of episodes. How